Ciao Bella, welcome to Reading with Bella, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. No matter how long you've been here, I always appreciate your time. Today I'm only going to read half. I have not read the poem specifically, but I'm only going to read half of this section because it is this long, and that is going to make for a very long video, so I'm only going to read half of it, and then we will read more again. If you have not been here before and you don't know what I'm reading, I have a Lewis Carroll collection that's entitled Jabberwocky, but Jabberwocky isn't the only thing that's in it, obviously, because it's quite large. The bookmark is at the halfway point so that I know where to stop. But we will get started. This does not have a year on it, but it says poems for friends, including acrostics, riddles, charades, and a cipher poem. Solution to the riddles and hidden names will be found in the notes. So I'm not going to necessarily give you the answers, but I will read the poems to you. All right, here we go. The first one is 2 prologues. Prologue to the Loan of a Lover. Curtain rises and discovers the speaker, who comes forward, thinking out loud. Ladies and gentlemen seem stiff and cold. There's something personal in young and old. I'll try, dear friends. Oh, let me call you so. Dear friends, look kindly on our little show. Contrast us not with giants in the art, nor say you should see Southern in that part. Nor yet, unkindest cut of all, in fact, condemn the actors while you praise the act. Having, by coming, proved you find a charm in it, don't go away and hint there may be harm in it. This is Miss Crab. My dear Verjuice, can it really be? You're just in time, love, for a cup of tea, and so you went to see those people play. Miss Verjuice. Well, yes, Miss Crab, and I may truly say you showed your wisdom when you stayed away. Miss C. Doubtless theatricals in our own quiet town. I've always said the law should put them down. They mean no harm, though I begin to doubt it. But now sit down and tell me all about it. Miss V. Well then, Miss Crab, I won't deceive you, dear. I heard some things I didn't like to hear. But don't omit them now. Well, no, I'll try to tell you all the painful history. And then, my dear, Miss Asterisk and he pretended they were lovers. Gracious me! What? Acting love? And has there ne'er been seen, save with a row of footlights placed between? My gentle censors, let me roundly ask, do none but actors ever wear a mask? Or have we reached at last that golden age that finds deception only on the stage? Come, let's confess all around before we budge. When all are guilty, none should play the judge. We're all actors, a motley company, some on stage and others on the sly, and guiltiest he who paints so well his phiz. His brother actors scarce know what he is. A truce to moralizing we invite, to goodly company we see tonight, to have the little banquet we have got, well dressed we hope, and served up hot and hot. Loan of a Lover is the leading dish, concluding with a dainty course of fish. White bait at Greenwich, in the best condition, by Mr. Gladstone's very kind permission. Before the courses will be handed round, an entree made of children, nicely browned. Ding, ding. But hark! The bell to summon me away. They're anxious to begin their little play. And one word before I go. We'll do our best, and crave your kind indulgence for the rest. Own that at least we've striven to succeed, and take the good intention for the deed. This is Prologue to Checkmate. Enter Beatrice leading Wilfred. She leaves him at center, and after going round on tiptoe to make sure they are not overheard, returns and takes his arm. B. Whiffy, I'm sure that something is the matter. All day there's been, oh, such a fuss and clatter. Mamma's been trying on a funny dress. I never saw the house in such a mess. Is there a secret, Whiffy? Yes, of course. And you won't tell it? Then you're very cross. I'm sure of this. It's something quite uncommon. Oh, curiosity. Thy name is woman. Well, Bertie, then I'll tell. What should you say if they were going to act a little play? I'd say how nice. But will it please the rest? Oh, yes, but you know they'll do their best. You'll praise them, won't you? When you've seen the play, just say how nice before you go away. This is some poems to colleagues and friends. Oh, come to me at 2 today, Harcourt come to me, and show me how my dark room may illuminated be. Though gondolas may lightly glide for me, unless you come, no friend remains but cyanide of pale potassium. Though maidens sing sweet bar carols, whatever they may be, to captivate readers' souls. Yet Harcourt come to me, yes, come to me at 2 today, or else at 2 tomorrow, nor leave thy friend to pine away in photographic sorrow. This is called Winter Birthday. The year when boilers froze and kettles crystallized the fender, the natal day of Bosanquet dawned on us in its splendor. For those who wear wool hosen catching colds a thing unheard of, but this great maxim Bosanquet would not believe a word of. When Frenchmen say "Sare nos zinc," etiquette suggests the answer. A zotless zinklet Bosanquet would be more zief than man, sir. Dear Bosanquet, I've heard expressed the grateful feeling that is, but due to one who treats his guests to genuine oyster patties. This one is called Dreamland. When midnight mists are creeping and all the land is sleeping, around me tread the mighty dead and slowly pass away. Lo, warrior saints and sages from out the vanished ages, with solemn pace and reverend face, appear and pass away. The blaze of noonday splendor, the twilight soft and tender, may charm the eye, yet they shall die and pass away. But here in Dreamland center, no spoiler's hand may enter. These visions fair, this radiance rare, shall never pass away. I see the shadows falling, the forms of old recalling, around me tread the mighty dead, and slowly pass away. This one's called To Hallie. O Caledonian maiden, O Hallie shy and still, whene'er I hear sweet music, of you my thoughts will fill. I shall think of those half hours, and ripe and spent with you. I shall dream of great Beethoven, and of Mendelssohn so true. If sleepless nights assail me, and I toss about in vain, the memory of Heller will make me rest again. A chord of Caller Heron, a note of Home Sweet Home, a bar of Scotland's bluebells will make my spirit roam to a drawing room in the crescent, where those sweet sounds I heard, and where I fain would follow if I were but a bird. Then Hallie, dear child Hallie, be to your talent true, and sometimes when you're playing, think I am watching you. Think how I loved your music, not for itself alone, but for the hands that played it, the mind that felt its tone. And now, farewell, child Hallie, though I am growing old. Fond memory will still charm me, to you I ne'er grow cold. This is called My Dear Christie. My dear Christie, I greatly fear I'm wanted here, which makes it clear I can't appear. At your poor rire I would our freer, so with a tear at which you don't sneer, I am, my dear, your most sincere. Okay. Letter to Maggie Cunnynghame. Dear Maggie, I found that the friend that the little girl asked me to write to lived at Ripon and not at Land's End. A nice sort of place to invite to. It looked rather suspicious to me, and soon after, by dint of incessant inquiries, I found out that she was called Maggie and lived in a crescent. Of course, I declared after that the language I use doesn't matter. I will not address her, that's flat, so do not expect me to flatter. Well, I hope you will soon see your beloved pa come back, For consider, should you be quite content with only Jack? Just suppose they made a blunder. Such things happen now and then. Really now, I shouldn't wonder if your John came home again and your father stayed at school. Most awkward thing, no doubt. How would you receive him? You'll say perhaps you'd turn him out. That would answer well so far as concerns the boy, you know, but consider your pa learning lessons in a row of great inky schoolboys. This, though unlikely, might occur. Hallie would be grieved to miss him. Don't mention it to her. No cart has yet been done for me that does real justice to my smile. And so I hardly like, you see, to send you one. However, I'll consider if I will or not. Meanwhile, I'll send a little thing to give you an idea of what I'm looking like when I'm lecturing. The merest sketch you will allow, yet still I think there's something grand in the expression of the brow and in the action of the hand. Have you read my fairy tale in Auntie Judy's magazine? If you have, you will not fail to discover what I mean when I say Bruno yesterday came to remind me that he was my godson on the ground that I gave him a name. Your affectionate friend. P.S. I would send, if I were not too shy, the same message to Hallie, that she, though I do not deserve it, not I, has sent through her sister to me. My best love to yourself, to your mother, my kindest regards. To your small, fat, impertinent, ignorant brother, my hatred. I think that is all. To 3 puzzled little girls from the author. To the 3 Misses Drury I. 3 little maidens, weary of the rail, 3 pairs of little ears listening to a tale, 3 little hands held out in readiness for 3 little puzzles very hard to guess, 3 little pairs of eyes open wonder wide at 3 little scissors lying side by side, 3 little mouths that thanked an unknown friend for 1 little book he undertook to send. Though whether they'll remember a friend or book or day in 3 little weeks is very hard to say. To thee, Misses Drury II. 3 little maids one winter day, while others went to feed, to sing, to laugh, to dance, to play, more wisely went to read. Others, when lesson time's begun, go half inclined to cry, some in a walk, some in a run, but these went in a fly. I gave to the other little maids a smile, a kiss, a look, presents whose memory quickly fades. I give to these a book. Happy Arcadia may blind, while all abroad their eyes. At home this book I trust they'll find a very catching prize. To the 3 Misses Drury III. 2 thieves went out to steal one day, thinking that no one knew it. 3 little maids, I grieve to say, encouraged them to do it. 'Tis sad that little children should encourage men in stealing, but these, I have always understood, have got no proper feeling. An aged friend, who chanced to pass exactly at the minute, said, Children, take this looking-glass, and see your badness in it. This one is, No mind, the little maiden cried. No mind, the little maiden cried, in half-indignant tone, to think that I should be denied a mind to call my own. An echo heard and softly sighed, or seemed to sigh, my own. No mind, the little maiden said, you'd think it, I'd suppose, and yet you know I've got a head, with chin, cheek, mouth, eye, nose. An echo heard and sweetly said, or seemed to say, I knows. You have no mind to be unkind, said Echo in her ear, no mind to bring a living thing to suffering or fear. For all that's bad or mean or sad, you have no mind, my dear. Then if the friend whom you deride, to all your merits blind, should say that though he's tried and tried, your mind he cannot find, 'tis but a jest for Christmas-tide, so Janet, never mind. To Miss Mary Watson. 3 children, their names were so fearful, you'll excuse me for leaving them out, sat silent with faces all tearful. What was it about? They were sewing, but needles are prickly, and fingers were cold as could be, so they didn't get on very quickly, and they wept, silly 3. Oh, mother, they said, Guilford's not a nice place for the winter, that's flat. If you know any country that's hotter, please take us to that. Cease crying, she said, little daughter. When summers come back with the flowers, you shall roam by the edge of the water in sunshiny hours. And in summer, said sorrowful Mary, we shall hear the shrill scream of the train that will bring that dear writer fairy tales hither again. Now the person she meant to allude to was, well, it is best forgotten. It was someone she always was rude to whenever they met. It's my duty, their mother continued, to fill with things useful and right your small minds. If I put nothing in it, you'd be ignorant quite. But enough now of lessons and thinking. Your meal is quite ready, I see. So attend to your eating and drinking, you thirsty young three. This is 2 poems to Rachel. Oh, pudgy podgy pup. Oh, pudgy podgy pup, why did they wake you up? Those crude nocturnal yells are not like silver bells, nor ever would recall sweet music's dying fall. They'd rather bring to mind the bitter winter wind through keyholes shrieking shrilly when nights are dark and chilly, or like some dire duet or quarrelsome quartet of cats who chant their joys with execrable noise and murder time and tune to vex the patient moon. What hand, this is number 2, what hand may wreathe thy natal crown? What hand may wreathe thy natal crown, O tiny tender spirit blossom, that out of heaven hast fluttered down into earth's cold bosom? It's supposed to be bosom, but I don't know. And how shall mortal bard aspire, all sin begrimed and sorrow laden, to welcome with the seraph choir a pure and perfect maiden? Are not God's minstrels ever near, flooding with joy the woodland mazes? Which shall we summon, baby dear, to carol forth thy praises? With sweet sad song the nightingale may soothe the broken hearts that languish, where graves are green, the orphans wail, the widow's lonely anguish. The turtle dove with amorous coo may chide the blushing maid that lingers, to twine her bridal wreath anew with weak and trembling fingers. But human loves and human woes would dim the radiance of thy glory. Only the lark such music knows, and fits thy stainless story. The world may listen as it will, she recks not to the skies upspringing. Beyond our ken she singeth still, for every joy of singing. The next one is the Lyceum. It is the lawyer's daughter, and she is grown so dear, so dear. She cost me in one evening the income of a year. You can't have children's love, she cried, unless you choose to fee 'em. And what's your fee, child? I replied. She simply said, we saw the cup. I hope she'd say, I'm grateful to you very. She murmured as she turned away, that lovely. Compared with her, the rest, she cried, and just 2 or 3 barellas standing side by side. Oh, gem of, we saw 2 brothers, I confess. To me they seemed one man. Now which is which, child, can you guess? She cried. Of course I can. Bad puns like this I always dread, and am resolved to flee 'em. So I left her there and fled. She lives at... This is called Something Fails. Something fails, perhaps the gale. Still there are scales on the rails packed in bales with the mails, coming to a writer who regales little friends with his fairy tales. This is Letter to Violet Dodgson. Dear Violet, I'm glad to hear you children like the magazine I ordered for you for a year. And if you happen to have seen the book about Lord Fauntleroy, you'll find an interesting bit about the child that acts a boy. Now they have a play of it in number 6. She seems to be a child without one bit of pride. A pretty name, too, hasn't she? The little Elsie Leslie Lyde. I grieve to hear your bantam hen is fond of rolling eggs away. You should remind it now and then of waste not, want not, you should say. A bantam hen that wastes an egg is sure to get extremely poor, and to be forced at last to beg for hard-boiled eggs from door to door. How you would like it, bantam hen, should you go on, if all your brood were hard-boiled chickens, you would then be sorry you had been so rude. Tell it all this and don't forget, and now I think it's time for me to sign off myself, dear Violet. And I will stop there. I didn't get all the way through because it's about to end. So I will leave it there for now, and I'll see you soon again. Ciao bella. Be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone.